Welcome. This is Monty once again. Decided to do a podcast. Finally got a chance to walk my cat and get some exercise. For him, I exercise regularly, but he needed to get out today, so I decided to do a podcast while he's walking around. Anyway, it looks like we probably need to review our some of the basic tenets to investing in Bitcoin. One of them is to be aware that Bitcoin is very, very volatile at times. And just like we've seen a significant run up, for me, the run up started around $3,000 or so, all the way up to almost $14,000 per Bitcoin. As of yesterday, I think it almost got to $14,000. And for numerous reasons, it almost hit 14,000. Then it backtracked to about 10,800. And I just want to advise you, new people out there, be aware of the fact that you can't get too caught up in the volatility of Bitcoin. When you place your money into Bitcoin, you don't want to panic. You don't want to sit there watching it, thinking about should I jump in, jump out, and make all these rash decisions. That's the last thing you want to do when you're putting your money into this type of investment, mainly because it is so volatile. It's what we call a relatively small, or I want to say illiquid type of asset, mainly because, well, illiquid is probably the wrong word, because we have a good amount of liquidity, but it pales in comparison to gold and real estate and dollars and the equity market, for instance. We don't even show up on the radar as far as the size of our market. The size of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency space doesn't even show up on the radar. It's so small. So it doesn't take very much money to move it around significantly. So you have to be careful in terms of getting too caught up in the fluctuations on a day-to-day basis. You hold tight and you just make sure that you don't get too emotional, okay? I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, and after traveling to numerous countries outside the United States, numerous states all across the United States, this is pretty much all me and my wife do. We travel and we live the life that Bitcoin has afforded us. But we don't get too irrational. We don't get too caught up, excited in the day-to-day fluctuations. We're more concerned about the long term. So this is what you want to do. You want to basically understand that Bitcoin is almost like a roller coaster or a bucking bronco, and it will try to bump you off, definitely. And if you're not careful, you will get bumped off. The bucking bronco will definitely buck you off. So the idea is to stay put. There's going to be a lot of Bitcoin millionaires and billionaires, even more than we have now. You could be one of them, but you're not going to make it if you panic prematurely. Once you make your investment decision, and this could be Bitcoin, this could be stocks, real estate, whatever it is, once you make your decision, you stay put. You have to understand what the fundamentals are. In other words, does the economy still pose the same problem or have the same problems? Is the banking system going to reward you very much for, putting your money into a bank? No. If you're a merchant and you run a business, are the credit card companies going to stop gouging you? And as far as discount fees and merchant fees and all of that, that's my cat, Lazy Bones. I guess he's ready to go back inside. But are the credit card companies going to stop gouging you? No. The retirement savings that most Americans have, is that going to change as far as the small amount of money that people are putting away in retirement and savings? No. It's not. Most people are going to run up as much debt as possible. They're going to spend as much as possible. So the economic situation is not going to change very much. It's going to get worse and worse. So the reason why Bitcoin exists and the reason why it's going to exist, in my opinion, going forward, is because the economy, the economic model, the monetary system, the fiscal policies coming out of the Federal Reserve and central banks, that is not going to change. It's going to just get worse. So this is why I'm excited. This is why I stay excited about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and blockchain, is because their current situation is terrible. It's not going to change. The amount of consumer debt is $17 billion. The amount of government debt is $22 trillion. So 17 trillion in consumer debt, 22 trillion in government debt, hundreds of trillions of dollars in and unfunded pension liabilities. You name it. The United States economy headed towards a recession, which the economists and such don't want to really admit to. The affordable housing is such that most people are giving up the idea of home ownership. A lot of the younger people, they're basically just giving up. The millennials and such, a lot of them, they are relegated to the idea of renting forever, sharing cars forever, sharing clothes, everything imaginable. They're sharing. This economy is turning people away from ownership. Ownership is, excuse the noise, is becoming expensive. Rentership and the gig economy is what you're left with. You're left with a situation where everybody's working 3 hours here, 4 hours there for this company, that Lyft company, that Uber company, or the other gig company, whether it's Task Rabbit, where you basically work on a per project basis. Clean my house, wash my cat, clean my dog, walk my chickens or something. I mean, this is insane. Once upon a time, we had an industrial base in the United States that consisted of major manufacturing companies, and you had a good manufacturing job, or you had a certain type of job that had a little bit more stability and reliability, but that seems to have gone out of the window. So anyway, not to paint too much of a negative picture, but you guys got to understand what you're up against. You got to understand why it's so hard to get ahead. You got to understand why politicians are going to continue lying to you, why these candidates are all of a sudden trying to address issues during the election time when they could have been addressing them all along. Well, that's because they just want to convince you that they're going to do something for you that you can't do for yourself, or that these problems all of a sudden came up. Well, guess what? Throughout the year, the problems were still there. They didn't address them. They weren't going to address them. But when it's time to get your votes and get your attention, guess what? Now they're going to talk about the problems. Immigration didn't just start. Homelessness didn't just start during election season. All these things are now all of a sudden a platform or an issue to be discussed because it's politically expedient to talk about them. But anyway, we Bitcoiners and people in the crypto space, we're addressing the underlying causes of all of these issues, and we're scaring the banking system, we're scaring the credit card companies, we're scaring the people who are part of the legacy system that are gouging you to death, keeping you from aspiring and financially and gaining some sort of sovereignty financially, you and your kids and your families and such. This is what this space is all about. But it's not going to be a piece of cake or a cakewalk. You're going to have to be diligent. You're going to have to understand. You're going to plant your feet, and you're going to be adamant about staying involved, staying committed. Okay, so I just want to give you guys a heads up in terms of what to expect going forward. You can get significant. You can be rewarded significantly if you hold steady, or you can be bouncing in and out like a kid on too much sugar. But if I were you, I would stay committed based upon my 5 or 6 years in the crypto space. I got a small portfolio of these things, and I refuse to panic and get all caught up in the daily hoopla or the volatility. I watch it and I look at it and I listen to the YouTube videos and I stay informed, but I don't jump in and out. I don't second guess myself as far as this is concerned. That's the last thing you want to do is make a decision, then undo your decision, then make a decision, then undo it. That's not the way to run anything, your business, your life, anything at all. Plant your feet, hold rock steady, and keep looking forward towards the long term. Anyway, I just started to make a podcast and let you guys know that you need to stay committed and stay involved. And we'll talk later. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.